Recording, I'm going to go ahead and call the agenda session to order. For those of us that are here today, the first order of business is the consent agenda. Number one, approval of the April 5th, 2016 City Council meeting minutes. Number two, a resolution to award bid number 16-26 and authorize the purchase of 3 grates and frames from the HD Supply Waterworks Ltd. in the amount of $55,995 plus applicable taxes for the College Avenue Enhancement Project. Any comments or questions for the council on this? Okay. Number 3, a resolution authorizing the purchase of Goodyear, Michelin, and Bridgestone tires from various local vendors in variable amounts and for varying unit prices as needed through March 31st, 2017, and any future renewal periods pursuant to state procurement contracts for use by Fleet Division. Anything on that? Just go through the equipment committee. Do you know, Adela?
No, I don't think this did. So
Okay.
it may not be 20,000.
Jesse, you might want to say a little something about that.
This is a formality for, we buy all our tires through purchasing contracts, state contract, or bids, and we realized it had not came before the council, and purchasing just suggested that we bring it to the council.
Okay. Is it going to go through the equipment committee, or?
We can talk about that if they decide to do that. Here.
When's
We have
your
one
next-
afterwards.
Oh, you're having one today?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Any questions for Jesse on this?
No, sir.
Okay. All right, number 4, a resolution authorizing acceptance of a grant from the Arkansas Flower and Garden Show in the amount of $2,500 for the purchase of native plant materials to be planted in a portion of Wilson Park that has been cleared of invasive plants, and to approve a budget adjustment. Any comments or questions on that?
Sounds good.
Yep. All right, under unfinished business, we don't have any. Next order of business that we will have Tuesday's a public hearing. On that item, a resolution authorizes the city attorney to seek condemnation and possession of certain lands owned by the unknown heirs of John and Alta Ream, needed for the operation and development of Lot 56, a city-operated public parking lot, and to approve a budget adjustment. Jeremy.
Mayor and Council, we are seeking council approval for authorization for the city attorney to seek possession by condemnation of a strip of property. This is located to the west of Lot 56. Lot 56 is a public parking lot at the southeast corner of West Avenue and Spring Street. We purchased that property in 1995 from Fayetteville School District Number 1. It's been utilized for a parking lot for over 15 years. There used to be a spur of the Frisco Railroad to that property. There was an old barrel maker in the location, and those were loaded onto the railroad and then put into the St. Louis and San Francisco Railroad Company system. That overall property is also currently being considered for the new home of Theater Squared, supported by the City Council last year in a resolution. During a survey of the property recently being undertaken by Theater Squared, it was discovered that a 15 by 152 foot strip of land adjacent to the street where the railroad used to be had not been included in the deeds that had been transferred through the years to property owner after property owner. So when we purchased that lot in 1995, it did not transfer, that portion did not transfer to us. We've done a great deal of research into who owns the property. It did revert back to the original property owners once the railroad was removed. That was a condition of the deed. And so we would not have been able to find any direct descendants of John and Alma Ream, who were the original owners of the property that deeded it to the railroad. So we're simply seeking a request to move forward. We've had an appraisal of the property. We would deposit that money with the court and go forward with condemnation action if this resolution is approved.
Any questions for Jeremy? Kit, you want to add anything to that?
Well, even after we go through this condemnation, which will take some time, we'll then have to do a quiet title action, so that, see if we can find any errors, which we have not been able to do. But if we can't find any errors, then the money that we will pay into the court will go to the state. And but we need to do that, especially if a building is going to be built on this lot. you know, that, is a cloud on the title, and so no construction of any significance could occur on that lot until we make sure that the title is good. So this is
Well,
the only way we can figure out how to do it, since we can't find the person to buy it from.
any questions on that?
No, sir.
Okay. All right, under new business, number one, an ordinance to waive requirements for formal competitive bidding to authorize the purchase of street light poles and fixtures manufactured by Dynamic Lighting Incorporated from sole distributor Amerilux Exterior LLC as needed for citywide transportation infrastructure projects through December 31st, 2020. Terry?
Yes, this is just a bid waiver for our light poles and fixtures, so they continue to match as we go up college with the new improvements. There'll be approximately 31 installed this year, approximately that many more next year. And then we included up to the current price of about 90 lights, which would give us the ability to purchase some of these in case we have more accidents like we've had occurred in the past few years, and it'd give us a little bit of buffer to have those without having to come back and we get those replaced immediately. And that's pretty much it. Oh, yeah.
Ken, did you pass out something different, or?
Yeah, this is the updated one that
Okay.
does allow us to purchase them for a number of years, so we can maintain the same light poles, the same light fixtures as we already have, and everything will look uniform and consistent.
In addition, Mayor, this caps it at $210,000, so, that's the max we can spend on, all that be spent on this particular project. That caps it, so it doesn't leave it open-ended. We'll come back and carry, resort the issue.
Okay.
And of course, this is also subject to your annual budgets that you will have to approve. So there's money, in fact, every year to buy it.
Okay. Any questions on that, or everybody good? All right. Number two, an ordinance to approve vacation 16-5375 submitted by Seaside Pools Incorporated, property located at 1924 East Charlotte Street, to vacate a portion of a utility easement. Jeremy?
It's a really relatively straightforward request. It's an undeveloped lot within a developing subdivision, cottages at Old Wire, off of Old Wire Road. The applicant is proposing to vacate a portion of a utility easement to allow for a pool in the backyard. There are no utilities within that utility easement, and this would reduce that utility easement to allow for that construction. There's a site plan included in your packet if you're interested. Planning Commission voted 9-0, and staff is supportive.
Any questions on that? Very good. All right. That brings us to City Council agenda session presentations. Agenda session presentation, Fayetteville Urban Forestry Advisory Board, annual report to the City Council. Sue, I believe you have this. Sure.
Push a button now?
No, it'll take a minute.
Oh, okay. I am Sue Madison, and I'm here representing the Urban Forestry Advisory Board. Our chairman, Glenda Patterson, could not be here, so I'm here in her place.
I see a little glimmer of hope.
While it loads, let me tell you that the Urban Forestry Advisory Board has been around in one form or another since about 1993. And our stated mission is to advise the City Council and to raise public awareness about Fayetteville's urban forest. Many, many years ago, when a site for the university was being considered, one of their primary goals for selecting this area was a lovely grove of graceful oaks on a hill with a commanding view as a good site for university. So in the very beginning, our city fathers and university fathers treasured the trees in our community. I don't believe we have any of our other members here today, unless somebody has recently arrived. John Scott, if you'll raise your hand, is our current urban forester and staffs the committee as well. We are proud of the accomplishments of this year. At the celebration of trees last October, we gave away 845 native trees and shrubs to residents of Fayetteville.
Very good. But
our crowning achievement for 2015 was thanks to the City Council for passing the invasive plant ordinance that you passed in November. That was very, very important to our chairman for the past 2 years, Don Steinkraus. He is a bee entomologist and is very, very concerned about plants for our pollinators. The ordinance is in no way punitive. It really just raises awareness of the problem. And in fulfilling city requirements for large-scale developments, certain trees cannot be used, certain shrubs. There's a list of our... I'm forgetting to do this, aren't I? This is an excellent time of year for you to look around our city and look at the invasive plants that we have. If you'll look at the edges along our roadways, the edges along our little forested areas, the edges along subdivisions, it is virtually a wall of bush honeysuckle or privet. And the bush honeysuckle is about to start blooming, and we will have thousands of little seedlings coming up. So the effort that we've made here with our staff is bound to have a good effect on that. There's a celebration of trees. Lots of different people picked up trees. More of the celebration of trees. We are also looking at some new goals for this current year and the future. This thing is doing this by itself. Are you trying to help me? Oh, good, good. Okay. There's our ordinance. Let me just mention that the staff did an excellent job of putting an online guide that if you are considering planting invasives such as privet, that they'll show you a good substitute that's a native, like yopon. So that is an excellent tool on the web for citizens trying to plant their yards with more pollinator-friendly native plants. One of our public awareness issues that we want to work on this year is the problem of what we call mulch volcanoes. Many gardeners and landscapers seem to think that the more mulch you pile around a tree, the better. In fact, it isn't very good for trees and can lead to deterioration of our trees. Our tree canopy in Fayetteville now is about at 36%. We would like to grow that to 40%, as you see here, because if you look at an aerial view of Fayetteville, you'll see there are a lot of open spaces without any trees, and the benefits to our community for as far as preserving the soil, removing pollutants, just the sheer beauty of trees, the cooling effect of an urban heat island from trees is well known. So I think increasing our tree canopy would make Fayetteville even more beautiful and livable. We have taken a special interest in the medians in our city. We would like to see them truly become a part of our urban forest and not just a row of lollipop trees with astroturf-type grass underneath, but to have some native plantings, some meadow areas perhaps. One of our board members is a landscape architect and actually worked up a plan on his own for Garland using a variety of native plants. And our staff recently applied for a grant to fund such a median planting, and they were successful. So we owe John Scott and our departing Derek Lynn big time for success with that grant. I believe the plan is to plant some natives down Garland as well as along College.
Yep.
We every year give a sustainable landscape award to either a residence or a business. In the past, it's focused on using native plants. There's last year's a church out Weddington that won it for the commercial. We are revamping that this year and trying to appeal to a broader array of applicants, perhaps. We're going to look at a whole garden, not just the landscaped part. Maybe people are wanting to grow some fruit trees in their yards, or have a vegetable garden or a berry patch, and we'll look and see if they're using best management practices, minimizing the use of pesticides, and then the same for commercial or civic properties, maybe restaurants that are growing some of their own foods. And we've moved the date for that more into the summer, when you would expect a garden to be more bountiful. So, this is my last time to make this presentation to this board. I've been on this board now 4 years, and I will roll off at the end of the year. And I will truly say I've learned much more from this board than I have contributed. It is an eye-opening experience to learn from the staff as well as the other board members. And I thank you all for letting me be on the board, and for your great support in all the efforts of the Urban Forestry Advisory Board.
Thank you,
And I will try to answer any questions if anybody has any.
Thank you very much for your service on the board.
And this is an excellent PowerPoint that our staff has done, but I didn't want to read it to you. So please, it's homework. Thank you.
Questions? Do we have any questions for Sue? Thank you, Sue.
Thank you.
All right. I don't believe we have anything else, do we?
I would like to ask the members of the Ordinance Review Committee who are here, Alderman Tennant asked and suggested that we might meet in the first
Well, there he is right now.
of May.
I heard you talking about me.
His ears are burning.
That's right.
And looking at my calendar, I unfortunately have a Parks and Rec Board I have to be with on Monday, City Council on Tuesday, 8th Circuit on Wednesday. So Thursday looks like the best day for me, which would be May the 5th. Can you all check your calendars and see if May 5th might be an available date? I think Matthew appears bored but said yes.
Tired.
May 5th
Yes.
is a Saturday?
Well, mine says it's a Thursday.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, okay.
I got paper stuff, so I mean, I don't
Well, I
know.
forgot
It
my,
might be
I
wrong.
forgot my paper, and I'm trying to use this. You're right. May 5th. So what do you think, Mr. Chair?
I mean, it's fine with me if it's fine with you, but it,
Mhm.
you know, I think we did Thursday last time, and
Mhm.
I think Matthew said it was kind of difficult, so I want to make sure it's all right with you.
No, it's totally fine. Anytime we can meet closer to business hours is best for me, but I'll make anything work.
So what time would you want to meet then on May 5th?
And the last time we did 4:30, I don't care if we do that, or if we need to do earlier, I can do earlier that day. I can do 4 o'clock, I just don't know about the room availability and things.
4 o'clock's ideal, but like I said, I'll make anything
What about you, Adela?
4 would be okay.
4 works?
Mhm. If I can do later, I can do earlier.
I will have to check
Will
with
you check availability?
rooms, because I do know the planning commission agenda session meets in room 111 at 4:30 on that day. But we don't need a big room to meet in, if nothing else. I mean, we can actually even meet in my office if we have to. We got a round table there and we can talk. Won't have much public comment, but we could certainly go over some ideas.
Let's shoot for that, and if you find a room, great, and if we don't, we'll...
I'll try to find this room, if it's gonna be, is this room gonna be available by then?
Most likely will be there.
Good, well, 3:26 is what I'll shoot for,
Okay.
What time?
4.
4 o'clock.
And you'll let us know one way or another.
I'll confirm. Sandra and I will confirm to you.
Thank you, Kid.
And if you wanna send me anything in writing about suggestions about fleshing out anything that you might want to, please do that. And I'll include that in the agenda that I'll try to get to you 2 or 3 days at least before the meeting.
Thank you.
Anything else?
No, sir.
Okay, we're adjourned.
Thank you, Mayor.